Welcome back to part two. So it is Friday and my shoot starts on Monday, and this is going to be a very busy weekend. So believe it or not, this is the shopping list. And this is only for the first week. So I'm gonna be going all over town to find all of these items. And I'm trying to be super organized for everybody because my experience in all of the video shoots that I've done over the years has told me that the more organized you are, the more structure you have to the day, the easier it is for everybody. And then everybody can concentrate on their talents and be creative and not get bogged down on all the organizational, logistical nightmares, which is what it can become if you're not organized, right? So here's what I've created. So I have my little shelf here and I have put little blue tape because each recipe is going to get its own little shelf. So we're gonna do anywhere from 7 to 9 a day. Any of the dry ingredients will end up there. And then that way we don't have to go rummaging through all of my cabinets looking for stuff. It's just right there. I have a table here that the food stylist is gonna be using. I've got the cabinet cleared out so we can put all the pictures. I am mopping and washing the floor just so that it's clean. Oh, and then I did this. This is something I've always wanted to do with my own crew and the Kin community crew, but I never got around to doing it. And there's gonna be so many people here that I just thought this would be a good idea. Anytime that I have had crews in my house, we use up so many plastic water bottles. You know, you buy a flat of water, everybody grabs a water, they forget which one is theirs, so then they grab another water. And then at the end of the day, you have 24 plastic water bottles. And I was just thinking that multiplied by 13, that's just a ton of water bottles. So I went out and bought 9 fresh water bottles that people can just fill up. So I just did 9 different colors. And then that way, everybody picks their color. They can keep them here. I'll wash them at the end of the day. And then at the end of the shoot, they can keep the water bottle as a memento. So one of the reasons why I have printed this out now is because before I go shopping, I want to make sure that I don't have most of this stuff. Things like baking soda or baking powder, spices, so that way I don't have to go buy it again, not realizing I already had it. This is stop 1 of a very long shopping day. First stop, Whole Foods. So the day started at about 7 a.m. and I went to Whole Foods to just get most of the easy produce done. I knew I was going to be headed to the farmer's market the next day, but I figured I could get a leg up on some of the other things. Then I went to Surface, which is on the other side of town. It's a really wonderful restaurant supply store just to get some specialty items. One of the things I love about coming to Surface is they have the most amazing collection of little treats and things from all over the world. And I had to buy these little Italian cookies to go with my coffee to keep going. So yummy. Then I headed over to the farmer's market at the Grove because this is a different farmer's market that happens on the weekends with the actual farmers. This is a permanent shopping area. Okay, the secret now is to get the perfect parking spot that will allow me to carry 3 turkeys out of here without pulling my neck out. I love coming here because it just reminds me of the 1940s and how people maybe grocery shopped in this part of town. My husband and I used to live here before we had kids, and then we moved to the suburbs when we had our daughter. But I love coming back here because it just reminds me of who I was 20 years ago without a care in the world. This market is a historic farmer's market that dates back to 1934. And what's fun about it is you can go inside and there's all these outdoor eateries and produce stalls and meat vendors. There's even this old little gas station that they kept on the property. They have it all propped up to make it look the way it did, I guess, back in the 30s. And it's fun to look in the windows and you can see the mechanics shop all kind of ready to go with period pieces. It's just sort of fun and adds to the atmosphere. But the real fun is waiting inside. I had so many things to buy here that I thought it would be a good idea to grab one of these little carts. So they're free to use when you shop the market, and you'll see them kind of against the wall when you're here. And what's fun about them is you can also see some of the historical photographs when you pick up one of the carts, and you can see how it was such a social setting even back then where people would come to do their shopping, catch up with friends in the neighborhood, and you can even see the same carts were used back then. Apparently they were built out of old produce crates, I heard, but they're very serviceable. And if you ever come to visit and you have a lot of shopping to do, they definitely help. And they are also really easy to maneuver when you are running through the crowd. And once inside, you'll see it's a combination of really fun little outdoor eateries, different shops selling specialty gourmet food items, meat counters. You really can find just about anything in here. And I can remember when my husband and I had our first apartment, we would walk down here for dinner at night or catch a drink with friends. It just is a really fun social hub to the city. And I was on the hunt for 3 frozen turkeys because that can be really hard to find in a grocery store outside of the holiday season. But there is a poultry place here that I knew would have them. This is a sweet little French restaurant that my husband and I used to come to when we were single, and we would come out to dinner and dream about how we wanted to own a house in France one day. And they have a cute little market with all French products. And every Christmas he would drag me down here to pick his favorite French food that he couldn't get anywhere else but here. And it also happens to be right next door to one of my favorite meat counters in all of Los Angeles, Huntington Meats. So I thought I would start here. I needed to get some ribs, some pork, a beef tenderloin, among a few other things, which was quite heavy. So I was really glad to have my little cart. Now that we've got the meat, it's time to go get the 3 turkeys. Off we go. This is a really sweet little diner. Apparently James Dean used to have breakfast here. In fact, they used to have a picture of him. Getting through the crowds is the hardest part of shopping here. Okay, mission accomplished. Now I just had to load up these frozen turkeys and make my way to the car. My cart is totally full, and we're just going to see how sturdy these little shopping carts are. Let's hope I can make it to the car. It's totally worth it though. I got some of the most beautiful meats. I'm telling you, if you are ever in Los Angeles and you want to come to the farmer's market, this is a great place to come for lunch, do a little shopping, get a little LA culture from the 1940s. That's old for us here in LA, believe it or not. Is there anything heavier than a frozen turkey? Oh my gosh. This is like a test of strength. Well, that was super nostalgic. You guys want to see where I used to live? Okay, so where we're going, this is where my husband and I, we were newly married. We moved into this little spot. We had no idea how we were going to afford the rent. We scraped it together, and it was the best thing we ever did. We ended up staying there for 10 years, believe it or not, saving up for a house. And we were able to walk here. It was a great location for us. Oh my gosh, here it is. They painted it. It's now gray blue. It used to be that color, and the 2 buildings matched. And see this courtyard? One year we had a huge block party, and we brought out tables and we barbecued, and we had so much fun with our neighbors. We had the best group of neighbors, and we lived up there. You can kind of see that was my husband's office, that little window right there. And then we had the bottom floor, so it was a duplex, and it was totally awesome. We loved it. We used to walk in this neighborhood. We used to go out to dinner. We used to know all of our neighbors. It was really awesome city living. And then we had our first baby, and she really wanted a yard. This was her yard. She used to play with the neighbor's dog in this little grassy patch. And then we thought, you know what? It's time to move to the suburbs. Anyway, so many happy memories. Bye, first apartment. All right, that's enough with memory lane. I need to get back home and get all of this meat into the fridge. Okay, we've got our 3 frozen turkeys defrosting in the fridge. All the rest of the meats, some of the produce, the things that we got this morning at Whole Foods. I'll get the rest of the things at the farmer's market tomorrow morning. Look at those beautiful pomegranate seeds. How great are those? So I feel like this morning it was all about going to the pricier places that I really needed to get those special things, the produce, the meats, and now I'm going to Trader Joe's for all the bargain items, just so I can save a little bit of money. I think with all of this cooking, like food styling, video creation, any type of food content creation, it costs a lot of money because you're just getting doubles or sometimes triples of things. And so you have to spend where it matters and then make up for it in the places that don't really matter. The funny thing about prepping for a cookbook is you realize you have to do a lot of cooking. Like that's sort of the obvious part, but I think I really underestimated all the shopping. Only 2 more stops left to go. We did all the shopping for the week because that way we could just go full steam ahead. But we also needed to find a place to put all of this. So I decided I would just take everything out, organize it by category, and put all the produce on the kitchen table, and then everything else in the cabinets and on that little shelf. Good morning. The shopping continues. Today I have to go to the farmer's market to finish my list and get a lot of the fresh produce that you can only get at a farmer's market. So if I was just hosting a party, I would probably go to 2 stores. I would not be doing all of this shopping all over town. But this is the difference between shopping for a real party and shopping for a cookbook. My cookbook is going to have recipes from all different seasons, from fall, winter, summer, spring. So I really needed to head to the farmer's market to get the produce that's just coming into season, things that aren't actually at the grocery store yet, because I really wanted to have a beautiful crudité platter. That's one of my recipes. So here I am. And the other reason I came to the farmer's market is for the bread. So just with one vendor, you can find so many great varieties of artisan style bread. And I have a lot of recipes going into the cookbook that require having really great bread. So I wanted to make sure that I could get that. I am as ready as I'm gonna be. So I don't think I can put one more little piece of produce on this table before it collapses. I have everything here ready to go. I wanted everything in bowls so that it was quick and easy to grab what we needed. And I have all of the bottles over here just so they don't break. So we have things like champagne and wine and red wine, beer, club soda for the different recipes we're gonna do. Also created like a bread section because I was running out of room. Look at this gorgeous pita bread. I just love this pita bread. I had to go to the Mediterranean market to get it. It's for a hummus recipe that we're doing, but I just really wanted beautiful homemade flatbreads. This place, it actually makes the flatbreads as you're sitting there watching, and gorgeous hummus. So that's all ready to go. And then some other breads, some burger buns, and some beautiful bread from the farmer's market. So that's ready to go. I have this section all cleared out for the photographer. I even made my little chapter headings here. See, so we've got drinks, we've got snacks, soup, salads, all of the different chapters, so that as we take a shot, we can put it up on the wall and see the book come together. And I've been told that really helps for morale, because as you're shooting and you're working really hard, you want to be able to paste up the fruits of your labor to kind of see how we're progressing. So I love that idea. And then I've already pulled some props today for some of the things that we're going to be shooting this morning. So that's ready to go. And then I had to just carve out a little section here for myself and whoever wants to come join me, just so I can have my laptop here and make any notes, because as we're shooting things could change, and I want to make sure that the recipe also reflects that. For example, if we're styling something and we decide like, oh, we want to add a little squeeze of lime or a little bit of cilantro, I need to make sure that I put that in the recipe so you guys know that too. Then I've got my coffee going here, very important. I have found when you have crews in your house, you have to supply the coffee and a bagel or a homemade muffin or something. So I've created a little craft service table out here just to be out of the way. So I got my little coffee dispenser here and, you know, a note that says, this is the food we can eat, help yourself. Because in the past, when I've done like video shoots, either for my own show or for things that I was doing for King Community, when anything was done and we were finished shooting it, we'd put it on this craft service table and let people taste it and enjoy it or take it home. But you do have to differentiate the food you can eat from the food that we're shooting with. So no one can touch anything on that table, but they are welcome to have at whatever is on this table. All right, and then the other thing I have to do is empty the dishwasher, because you do not want to start this process on a full dishwasher. I had the funniest reactions with people as I was in the store shopping and they saw my big list. I kept getting people who would come up to me and say, what is this party you're planning? How do I get invited? And I kept saying, oh yeah, this is a party, all right. And what a party it was. It was so fun to see the food stylist swing into action, getting this food ready, making it look as good as it could look. All these little tricks of the trade. Now, Jason, you're quite the wizard at the barbecue and the roasting. What is your secret for getting like a great piece of meat that looks so amazing and delicious?
No, I used to use the squish test to see, you know, if a steak is done, but that's not really always 100% accurate. You know, there's nothing better than a digital thermometer when dealing with a roast or something large, very expensive. But for But for steaks, you know, that's off the cuff.
Yes, exactly. And that works too. Jason, this trash thing was also your doing with the clips to keep it open. How did you come up with that idea?
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
And that is a...
That was it, yeah. The bag kept falling in, and it was either Scotch tape or Ed's clips.
I love Ed's clips. See, it keeps the trash nice and propped. So when you're running, you just throw it and go. It was so great to dedicate the entire garage to all of the plates and props that we were going to use for the shoot. And I was out there looking at things and I realized I didn't really have any fancy plates for some of the fancier dishes that we were preparing. So I knew exactly who to call. So my dad has arrived to the rescue with the plates because I got rid of all the fancy plates thinking I didn't need fancy, but I needed fancy.
I'm here.
This is Jen, our prop stylist, and so she has been picking all of the props that you see all the gorgeous food on. So every consideration, every prop has a consideration. I was thinking for Thanksgiving with the sliced turkey, the stuffing, and the cranberry sauce.
Gorgeous.
Gorge, okay. So
And
we got
then
that.
you have your little.
Oh yes, no, this is another. Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh my gosh.
So if we want to go fancy, no, did you bring the soup bowls?
No, I figured.
That means you just have to come back.
Okay.
Kill me.
No. So this could be for something too, something that's not white.
It would be great to have the soup bowls too.
Okay.
I want to come to a dinner party at your house.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, he has some good
We have the
ones. Yeah.
China.
He taught me everything I know. It
The
all
house
comes
is
from
great.
here.
Our new house is great. I love your carrot cake.
Yeah. Oh, you like the carrot cake? Yeah. You like the slice? Yeah.
I do.
He's okay. We don't want to scoop it because you guys have to wait and see it in the book. But he's reacting to all the photos. Every time we take a photo, we put it up on the wall so we can see where we're headed. So yeah, it looks pretty good.
Great.
Thanks.
And then we put my parents' plates right into action immediately.
All right, so see, we have to keep shooting it while the sauce is dripping. And I think this is where the collaboration really comes into play because it starts with the recipe, but then the props show you the scene that I think that the recipe is best sort of served in or what the occasion would be. And then the food stylist will come in. And one of the things that I love about our food stylist team is they really have a way of showing you what the recipe tastes like. And I've had friends that say food stylist, like what's that? I don't even know that was a job. And it's sort of like being a makeup artist for food. It is to show that slice of cake in its best light so that when you're looking at that photo, you almost can taste it. So we have our little scene here with our champagne and our cheesecake, but our champagne is looking flat. But Jen, our prop stylist, has a trick for that.
Okay, you just sprinkle a little salt in and it makes it shimmer like it's brand new. So we don't have to buy cases of champagne. Okay, are you ready, David?
Ready?
All right, so in goes the salt, and then you can see instant bubbles. Tell me about your job here. This looks very involved. Control Central.
Today, I'm digital teching.
Okay.
So basically, it's just making sure you're file naming, that you're making sure like the images are sharp, and you know that you have systems up for everyone to view, and
Yeah. And knowing which ones are the good takes, because we could take 20, 30,
marking
40
takes.
yeah, pictures.
It's just like organizing and filing. It's
Exactly. It's a very important job.
It's
Yeah.
not very exciting, but you know, important.
It
for
is.
sure.
And this is Ed, our photographer, the master of ceremonies. So Ed, I've been so impressed with your work here. I mean, we just sort of met through an internet search and I couldn't have picked a better person. I mean, for real.
It's been a lot of fun.
One of the things that I was so impressed about with Ed is you guys know me, I love my natural food photography. And when he said, oh, we'll just turn your living room into a set and I'll bring all this artificial light, I was like, wait a minute, no, that doesn't sound good. But I trusted Ed because he said, no, it's gonna look like sun, don't worry. And sure enough, it does.
What we're trying to do is kind of mimic like a large window. So what we do is we bounce a light off of this double piece of foam core here, and it just acts like a soft light reflecting back onto the food. And this also gives us the advantage of that no matter what, if it's sunny day outside, cloudy day, we can control this, and this light is very repeatable and consistent throughout the day. So we could shoot even when it's dark outside, and we always have this same nice sunny light.
But you also can create very moody, like Thanksgiving
Right.
shots, which I've been equally impressed by. So
Yeah,
what is that?
It's a very versatile, just kind of in the way you have this light angled and the way it's hitting here. Then we also sometimes use this additional spotlight to highlight certain areas of the food and kind of create more of like a moody, sort of like late afternoon sun type look.
Yes. A lot of this has to do with organizing the day around the surfaces. Because you guys remember, we went to go shopping for these stone surfaces and they weigh a ton. So we want to shoot everything on this soapstone before we don't need it anymore, because otherwise moving these blocks back and forth is just a backbreaker. Ta-da! Look at that gorgeous soapstone. Worth all the hassle. We like to use the dark soapstone for things that are like moody, wintry, or in this case, holiday, because it does look really dramatic. Because it's a punch, I bought this little beauty on Etsy and I was kind of really obsessed with it. So what do you think?
I think it's gonna be gorgeous.
Okay.
So, I don't know, now we're gonna make a little world with this beautiful punch bowl.
One of the things I like about working with Jen, and I think prop stylists in general, is that they can create these little worlds with either props that they bring or my own props, or sometimes we mix them together. And I think that's so fun because, yes, it's about the recipe, but I also think it's about the mood and the feeling that I want you guys to have when you open that page and you see this. Let's see. I think it gives you ideas for styling and how to actually serve the recipe. Oh yeah, go get the cheesecake. Here, I need to get your reaction on the cheesecake. Where is the cheesecake? We're looking for the cheesecake. Ed needs a slice of cheesecake. This is an emergency. This is an emergency. Where's that cheesecake? Find Jen here in Prop Central. We have put everything in the garage. And what have you found?
Hi, I found your beautiful silver tray.
Oh, yes.
I love, Beth has so many amazing family things, like silver and china, and we're gonna have, like, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
The most little tiny things I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And it makes my prop stylist heart really happy. So we're gonna use this gorgeous silver tray because it just instantly says party and celebration. And y'all, it's super easy to make something look like a party and celebration. You just need a tray, some shiny stuff. It's amazing.
Really good.
All right, what do we think?
Definitely one of the best cheesecakes I've ever had.
Oh, come on. You say that about all the
No,
cheesecakes.
this is true.
I think, Beth, this is gonna be so
So creamy, so light.
So delicious. Look at these fabulous linens. I look at this every night, Jen, and I think, oh, wouldn't this be a great drawer to just pull out every day?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
The other thing that I really love about Jen is before she came, I dragged out my ironing board here. Well, it has sat here for 8 days.
I did steam a couple of things. I did iron.
But I love that look, the worn look, where everything
Well,
isn't always so
not everything
perfect.
has to be perfect.
I
You
love
want, like,
it.
don't, if you have friends coming over, unfold it, put it on your table, and call it a day. Perfection is not the goal.
True. Okay, I've got my Instacart driver because every so often we need groceries. As much shopping as I've done, every so often we forget something or something doesn't look as good as it used to, so we need to reorder it. So we've got Instacart coming here at least once a day. Today they're bringing us some romaine lettuce. It's kind of funny because a lot of these Instacart drivers I have gotten to know for the last year, just doing all the testing. I'm constantly ordering groceries if I've run out of something and it's not practical to head to the store when I have a cake in the oven. So a lot of them know that I have been working on this cookbook, and when they arrive and they see this big scene and the big mess that we're creating, they're like, oh my gosh, are you shooting the book? Oh yes, I am. All right, so we've got a bunch of lettuce because we could not find the baby gem lettuce. I don't know why, everybody's sold out, but finally the Instacart driver came through and we've got our lettuce. Oh, and here comes Olivia. Hi, Olivia. So Olivia is my cookbook editor who's been my savior, my lifeline. So I know we just caught you here, but can you tell us a little bit about what you are working on here? We can go to our little perch.
Yeah, our little setup.
This is our perch, table for two. So this is where, as we're working on recipes, and maybe we add a garnish, or I made it the night before and I think something could be easier, I'm here on my laptop updating it all in real time. But Olivia and I have been working for months.
We have
On this, many months. Okay, so we are really at the end of a very long process. This has been going on for probably 9 to 10 months. So I've been spending all that time testing recipes, sometimes 5 to 6, 7 times in a batch, because I really want the recipe to be perfect by the time it gets to you guys. So once I do that, I write the head note, I write all the ingredients, and then it goes to Olivia. And then what happens?
So we've been working, actually Beth has been working extremely hard on getting these recipes to be awesome. And now that I have tasted many of them, I can confirm they are really good. But yeah, Beth and I have been working on a monthly basis, batching recipes back and forth. She sends them to me. I do some editing, send them back.
Now Olivia's being very modest. Olivia is like your favorite English teacher that you loved in high school that is only there to make things better and to make you shine. And sometimes I get her edits back and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that sounds so much better. Or like she's super sleuth too. She'll go through the ingredient list and if it's not mentioned in the method, she points it out. And like, I can't tell you how much that means to me because this isn't a blog. It's not something that I can go and change later if there's a mistake. It is in print.
We have the right amount of detail, but we still get everything to fit nicely on the page. So we have beautiful photo, right? So you can see exactly what you're making as you're reading the whole recipe. And it's just gonna be like a match made in heaven and a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Another thing that this process has taught me is how to be a better recipe writer. As I was making these last night, I noticed that this was in the wrong spot. So now we can come over here and I can update it in real time.
Yeah, so bringing you into the world of this recipe. So for example, here you see the flour, the baking powder, the salt are all, in order of use, and then by largest quantity to smallest. Then we have the butter, and then we have a cup of green onions and a cup of sharp cheddar. So you might think, oh, those are the same quantity, but you can see here that the cheddar is 100 grams, so it weighs a little bit more.
Oh.
So that,
Has to go first?
just might go first because it's from largest to smallest, and the way that you do your mise en place, you might want to have it organized.
I mean, really, does it get any better? The other thing is because 50% of my audience is US based and 50% of you guys are outside the country, I wanted to make sure all the recipes would be in both imperial and metric measurements. So I literally measured every ingredient to make sure it would be accurate.
Meanwhile, the Christmas punch is looking fabulous. All of the recipe has been put into the punch, we've garnished, and are ready for the lighting.
So Ed is also a masterful artist at moodiness, but this takes some know-how. So what have you done?
So what we have here is there's two different lights. One is kind of like more of a general broad, soft light that kind of does a sort of a base illumination of the scene. And then we have this separate spotlight that I could turn on and off here. And that's actually highlighting the fruit in the punch bowl.
Okay, now wait a second, because now
So this is the shot that we have here that's a result of having that light on.
Okay.
And you can kind of see how the fruit is really nicely highlighted.
yes.
And now we're going to do a separate shot with that off. And you can see
Oh my gosh,
how
that makes
dull
a
that is.
huge difference. So it's like a key light on your fruit.
It just gives you a little sparkle and a little shine and adds a little mood, a nighttime mood.
Yes, well, I love it. And I also think personally it makes the food pop. Oh yeah, so David's gonna show us before, after. Moving the soapstone is no joke.
This might now be
It
under
takes these
the
two guys
soapstone.
and a little dolly to move it because it's so heavy. And this is its resting place. It goes right there. See, so they wheel it and it just gets parked in its little parking spot. And then in its place, we have the gorgeous marble with a little backdrop.
Okay, today I'm getting my hair and makeup done because we are gonna try for a cover shot. So I'm here with Violetta of the YouTube channel Violet Artistry, and she has come to try to whip me into shape.
yet, but you're gonna have to buy the book to see the cover.
Then it was time to change into one of the many beautiful Cézanne dresses that I got a few weekends back.
It's all about the holding of the casserole. This looks like a very simple thing to hold, but it's slippery and
Do you feel safe
fabric
on
is
that
slippery.
side? But this
Yeah.
looks good. Is that too dangly? Let
I
me
don't
see.
know. I
Let me
think
see
it's
here.
okay. This is one of my favorite recipes in the book. It's a ham and cheese strata. It's so delicious. So I wanted it on the cover. All right. Ed, we ready? What do we think? All right. Okay.
And then we just proceeded to take a bunch of pictures. Me with the Strata coming down the steps, thinking this might be an option, but you never really know until the shoot is totally over. We ended up switching dresses, trying different angles, and then did a cover try on another day too. So you're really gonna have to wait until the book's out to see which one we went with. Well, it was a long day. My kitchen is a total disaster. Total disaster. Yes, it is. You know, it's been a busy day when I don't have any whisks left, but a big Danish whisk and 2 mini whisks. I've used all my whisks today. And now I've got to make some banana bread. I already have another quick bread in there, but it's gonna help because we have realized that if I can make at least 2 to 3 things each night after the shoot, so we're all ready to go the next morning, it makes the next morning so much easier because we have 2 or 3 things ready to go. So that's what I'm gonna do. I haven't seen much else but the inside of these 2 rooms for the last 10 days. It has really been exhausting every time I wake up, but I am completely inspired each time I look at this wall and I see all of these gorgeous photos coming together. I definitely see what they mean about having the photos up on the wall is good for morale because it gives you a sense of progress. Now that we have spent 2 weeks shooting everything tabletop, we are now spending this week, the 3rd week, doing all kinds of lifestyle shots. So I am out here in the garden cleaning off this table for our gazpacho soup shoot. This is a summer soup that I love to make, especially if we're entertaining out in the garden. I didn't have Jen this week, so just to save a little bit of money, I only booked her for 8 days. So I was left putting my own little scenes together, and Ed was very nice to show me exactly what it was gonna look like. So I set up my little scene that I wanted to convey how we normally serve this soup, and then he was able to show me on the monitor what it actually looked like. So we were following the same system we did indoors. Get the prop set before you put any food in, so that way when the food gets in, we don't have to mess around with moving the props. Then we spent the next few days just shooting in and around the house. And these shots just took a lot longer because we're dealing with real natural light. We're not in our little controlled environment anymore. And I was in most of these shots. So I had to just sit there and be patient while everything got set up. And then at the very last moment, I would hold the platter or whatever the recipe was that we were making that day. Well, that's a wrap. 12 days, 101 recipes, a ton of lifestyle shots, and a cover. I'm so grateful for all of the talented individuals that helped me put this book together. I can't wait for you guys to all see it. So coming to you, summer 2025. Mark your calendars. See you next time. Bye.